Peace and wellness, family. I hope that y'all are well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. Let me make sure my stuff is muted. Okay, here we go, y'all. So first off, in honor of Juneteenth, I'm a couple minutes late for my people, for La Raza. Okay, I'm running on the sun time. Okay. Happy summer solstice. Happy full moon, y'all. Let me tell you, I was yesterday, me and my friend was going out, right? So we were supposed to be at the place. We had reservations, right, at a certain time. So she was gonna leave like 30 minutes early. I said, not on Juneteenth. We not following that European time clock on Juneteenth. We follow the sun. Okay. She said, no, I'm an on-time color. Thank you. But peace and wellness, y'all. I hope that everybody is well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. Happy summer solstice, y'all. Today is summer solstice. It starts at 4:50 p.m. Eastern time. And for those of you who do not know, summer solstice is the time where the Earth's tilt towards the sun is the greatest. So we get that maximum sun energy, that maximum divine source energy. Intuition is enhanced, divine revelations are enhanced. So it's just a really good time for clarity, right? It's really, really good energy. Of course, the days will be longer because now it is officially summer. So those summer days will be longer. It's just a beautiful time. And then tomorrow, June 21st at 9:08 p.m. Eastern time, we have a full moon peaking in Capricorn. So my intentions for this video is for us to talk about that full moon in Capricorn. Let's talk about the energy, the meaning of the planetary alignments, how it may impact our energy, but also identify some practices that we can implement to utilize this energy for our wellness. Okay, family? Now let's get into it. But before we get into it, y'all, I gotta tell y'all, know I always gotta update y'all about my life. Okay. I gotta tell y'all, yesterday, I was feeling like a simple girl. I was feeling like a simple girl yesterday. Yes, sometimes I could be a little dramatic, okay, in how I dress and things I do. I could be a little dramatic, a little artsy out there sometimes. Yesterday I was feeling very simple. So for me moving and stuff, y'all know I be having my nails done. So for me moving, my nails and stuff had broke off. So the last time I went to get my nails done, they convinced me to get Gel X, which ain't nothing but a glorified damn press on. I paid $90 for a glorified press on. That girl put that gel on my hand, pressed the nail on there, cured it, and polished it. I said, I could have went to Sally's. I could have went to the CVS. A glorified press on, okay? So yesterday I was going to get my nails redone again because it had been some time. So I went to, I soaked off the Gel X and I was feeling real simple. I said, I'm gonna just do a little simple hard gel manicure, do a little hard gel overlay, right? My nails have grown out a little bit, y'all. For me moving and unpacking boxes, lifting boxes, my nails have broke down to the roots. Okay, like I'm talking about blood root. Okay, you can see the quick. All right, so they have grown out a little bit. So I was like, I always usually, when I was in New York, I used to always just get like a hard gel overlay. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to my little hard gel overlay, but on my little simple nails. So this is the look, y'all. I did the little milk bath, natural color. And yesterday I liked it. Today I woke up, I said, why do I feel like I look like a stud? Why do I feel like I, why do I feel like I, happy pride? Happy Pride. What am I doing? Where are my long length tips in color? I said, I got to go. I got to go. I got to go back. Because I woke up, I said, this is not me. This is not me. Yesterday I was feeling it. I was like, oh, simple, clean girl aesthetic. Today I woke up, I was like, who are you? Who are you? I got to go back, y'all. So that's my current life situation. I don't know what had got into me. I sent the video to my friend. I said, why did you let me do this? Why did you let me do it? You know this is not me. I don't know what got into me yesterday, but today it'll do. Today it'll do. Okay. But family, let's talk about this summer solstice energy and then we'll get into the full moon energy. Okay. So, again, summer solstice is the time where the earth is tilted closest toward the sun, right? And that our sun is our divine source. Our sun is our connection to the divine source. The sun is a natural purifier and cleanser. I always tell y'all, a great way to cleanse and purify your crystals is to simply set them out in the sun for some time, right? And today is a great day to purify and cleanse, to recharge your crystals, right? To refresh them, right? Because we have that sun energy peaking high and strong today, all right? So definitely some things you want to do today specifically, but the beginning days of summer, you definitely want to sit outside, do some sunbathing, go out in nature, practice some grounding, and really connect with that divine source energy. Today is a great day for meditation. Today is a great day to receive some clarity, right? And just to really cleanse and purify your energy. So if you've been feeling a bit intense, and I know a lot of y'all have because we have this full moon in Capricorn energy. So if you've been feeling a bit intense, you've been feeling a bit emotional, potentially a little erratic, desiring to have strong emotional responses, this is just a good time to sit outside, refresh, recharge, purify your energy, and just kind of have like a good reset. This is also a good time for reflection, and that leads us into our full moon and Capricorn energy, right? So today you may want to sit outside and do some reflection over this last half of year according to the Gregorian calendar, or quarter year according to the lunar calendar, right? Really sit down and take some time to reflect over how your year has been thus far, because the full moon in Capricorn calls us to reflect, calls us to ground, causes us to sit down and ask ourselves, what is balance for me? What is wellness for me? That is what the full moon in Capricorn is calling us to do, y'all. My nose is tickling. You know how your nose is tickling, your eye about the water? I look like I should have played it like I'm getting emotional. You know, the full moon in Capricorn it's a bit intense. I can't even play emotional. I'm an Aquarius. I can't even play emotional. I'm an Aquarius to the core. I can't. I can't do it. It ain't in me. It's not in me. It's not in me. But the full moon in Capricorn is definitely bringing out a lot of emotions in folks, y'all, because full moons are all about revealing and releasing as well as reflection. And Capricorn is a cardinal earth sign. Capricorns are known for being highly intelligent, highly curious beings, very responsible, very dependable. Capricorns are usually the people that you go to and you ask this famous question. Now tell me if I'm wrong. That's your Capricorn friend. You go to your Capricorn friend and you say, now tell me if I'm wrong, because they are usually the voice of reason and leadership in a lot of ways. Capricorns have a great ability to look at things from both sides, right? To really see like, okay, let me hold this person accountable. Let me let this person know that, you did the right thing, or let me, give you a little guidance, a little leadership, right? They're very good for that. But Capricorns can also be a bit pessimistic, okay? So with this full moon and Capricorn energy, a lot of us are feeling very ambitious. A lot of us are feeling the desire to get up and do something, to take action, to really not just reflect on our goals, but to move into the next step of our goals, right? That's that responsible energy. We want to do something. We want to be active. We want to really be more goal oriented, but also we may be feeling a bit pessimistic, wondering like, am I doing enough? Is this working for me? Is this path really the path for me? Asking ourselves those questions, which are not bad questions. They can actually be very reflective and cause us to kind of make some shifts and changes that we need to make, okay? Now, I do want to tell you, our wellness community, the notes will be available for y'all in the Patreon as soon as this live is over. And then everyone else, please, please, please take notes. The beginning part, you could take shorthand. But when we get to the journal prompts, take them like verbatim, but for the journal prompts. But so for the full moon in Capricorn, we have that. We talked about summer solstice. I wanted to talk about the opposing energy. So we have Mercury and Venus. Now this is what's eating the people up. Well, this community, we talked about this. This is what's eating the people up. The opposing energy, Mercury and Venus in Cancer. Okay. Mercury is our planet of communication. Mercury is our planet of agreement. Mercury is our planet of transportation and personal technology. In Cancer, Cancer energy, as we know, is very emotional, very water, it's water, so very chaotic, very like kind of can be go with the flow, but also shifts very quickly, right? So when I say full moon energy, we know the full moon pulls at the tides, right? And we are more than 70% water. So naturally, the full moon pulls at our emotions. When you have a full moon in Capricorn, which Capricorn is causing us the desire to feel balanced, the desire to feel grounded, the desire to feel connected to the divine source, right? With that summer solstice energy. But then you have an opposition of Mercury in Cancer, where Mercury in Cancer is causing us to communicate from an emotion-based space. Oppositions bring us challenge. Oppositions tell us what may throw us off. Right now, what may throw off your balance, what may throw off your ability to feel grounded and at peace and calm and easy is communicating from emotions, chaotic, unregulated emotions. And wellness community, we just had a whole conversation about this. We just had a whole conversation about the value of emotional intelligence, right? When you are emotionally triggered, what is the work that we are doing to regulate our emotions, to practice emotional intelligence? How are we bringing awareness to our emotions? How are we naming and identify our emotions? How are we choosing and identifying healthy emotional responses to implement and practice? That Mercury in Cancer is causing us to want to immediately, as soon as we feel an emotion, we want to communicate that emotion from an unhealthy space if we are not practicing emotional intelligence. Soon as we feel triggered, and projecting our triggers everywhere, right? From an unhealthy space. So what is important right now? Because again, anytime we have an opposition, this is what may throw you off. This is where your challenge will be. What is important right now is going to be to mind your mouth. Mind your mouth. Mind how you are communicating, especially when you are emotional. When you find yourself being triggered, right? And I'm going to say this because we also have Venus opposing in Cancer. So both Venus and Mercury are in Cancer. What this tells us, Venus is our planet of relationships, values, beauty, all of that, right? What this tells us is that in our relationships, friendships, community relationships, family relationships, communicating from an emotional space, especially an emotional space that is unregulated, unhealthy, not checked, not practicing emotional intelligence. Anytime you are communicating from that space, it will have a negative effect on your relationships. So this is a time where you do not want to ruin your relationships basically by talking reckless. Don't let your mouth ruin your relationships. Do not allow your mouth to get ahead of your intelligence. Okay? Do not allow your mouth to get ahead of your intelligence. Right now, a lot of us are leading with the heart and we're leading with passion, which is okay when it is regulated, when it is healthy. But sometimes the heart could be out of control. Sometimes our emotion body can be out of control. And when we communicate from an out of control heart, from an out of control emotion body, which is then a pain body. Come on, wellness community. We just finished reading The New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, where he unpacked the pain body. Okay, if you're not in the wellness community, I advise that you read that book, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle. You're communicating from the pain body. You need to mind that. Okay, that will affect your relationships, which will throw you off balance. So this is a time where silence needs to be practiced. Emotional intelligence needs to be practiced. Before you communicate, ask yourself, am I communicating from a wellness centered space? Are my emotions regulated? And let me be clear. You may feel angry, you may feel sad, you may feel hurt, you may feel these emotions. It's possible to regulate those emotions. When you can bring awareness to your anger, aware, and the anger is not controlling you. You are aware that you are angry, you are aware that you are hurt, and then you are identifying, okay, how do I want to respond to this? What are the desired results that I'm hoping for from this response? What are my intentions with this response? What are my intentions? Ask yourself that question. Okay? Ask yourself that question. So, really, again, just be mindful of how you communicate, okay, during this time. Does Moon in Capricorn affect Capricorns? Everybody will be affected by a full moon in Capricorn. So that's a common myth, right? A lot of people think that, certain signs will be exempt. And I'm not saying that you're saying this, Dwayne, I just want to be clear. A lot of people think that certain signs are exempt, right, from planetary alignments. Everybody will be affected, but it affects different people differently, right? Now, with Capricorns, with Earth signs and cardinal signs as a whole, anytime you have a planetary alignment peaking in that sign, specifically a full moon or a new moon peaking in that sign, they will likely be the ones who are affected in a very positive, comfortable way. That is their safe space. That is their norm. So we're talking about full moon and Capricorn energy, and we're talking about the desire to feel grounded, balanced, goal-oriented. That's naturally your energy. So you feel like, okay, I'm good. I'm cool, right? But also the effects, the opposition is the part that will challenge you the most. So cardinal signs, earth signs, that communication, that Mercury in Cancer is the part that will challenge you the most. So that is the part that you have to work on. When it comes to water signs will feel the most comfortable with the difficulty in communication, right? They'll feel the most comfortable in those tough circumstances where people are communicating from emotion-based spaces. They'll be able to easily identify it and know how to handle it. A Capricorn, an earth sign, a cardinal sign will not know how to handle that. A Capricorn will not know how, earth sign will not know how to handle that water sign energy, right? When it comes to communication, but other water signs will be fine with it, right? So consider that, all right? Capricorns, you'll be okay, but the communication will be the part that affects you the most. Now, I want to talk about the squares. Neptune and Chiron will be squaring. Anytime we have a square, squares can also be challenges, but squares are a challenge in the sense of this is the part that will help you elevate. This is the part that, it can be a challenge for you, but really pushing you for your wellness, for the better. The oppositions are pushing you and challenging you, but those are the things that you would need to release and let go of. Your squares are the things that are kind of elevating you and kind of showing you who you are. So that is really like a part of the revelation energy, okay? Now, Neptune, and that's also a part of like how you will handle that opposition energy, okay? So Neptune is our planet of spirituality and dreams. This is a time where you absolutely want to focus and tune into your spirituality, okay? You may want to try something new, something innovative, something different when it comes to your spirituality, okay? When it comes to a spiritual practice, a lot of folks, especially when we're talking about enhancing emotional intelligence right now, when we're talking about being mindful of how you communicate, some of y'all need to start practicing new spiritual practices that can help you emotionally regulate and be more emotionally intelligent, okay? Sometimes we have to be real about what's not working for us. The traditional practices that you may already be implementing may just not be working for you, and that is okay. That's okay. It's okay to know that. It's okay to be aware of that. But what are some practices, some new things that you can try that will absolutely help you regulate again, that will absolutely help you be well again? Okay. So really ask yourself that. What are some new things that I can try to kind of help myself regulate, help myself be well? Okay. Now, with the Chiron energy, that Chiron is that wounded healer. So, again, your goal during this time is going to be to heal the triggers that are causing you to have unhealthy emotional responses. So as I said, your opposition is really what's challenging you. That's what's affecting you. Your squares are also a challenge, but they're telling you how to heal the opposing energy. The opposing energy is telling you to communicate in a chaotic way, to communicate from an emotion-based space. That square of that Chiron is telling you, but you need to heal those triggers that's causing you to communicate from an emotion-based space. You need to heal those triggers that's causing you to even receive this in a negative way. Why are you desiring to have these unhealthy emotional responses? Why are you desiring to just even receive that energy at all, to allow this energy to permeate your energy field? Well, in this community, we talked about this as well when I was saying, you have to be mindful of what you allow to affect you, right? We have to be mindful about what we allow to trigger us. And when we find ourselves being triggered, we have to do the root work of the trigger. Why am I triggered in this way? What is this telling me? Where is this coming from? Okay, somebody said this to me and it set me off. Why did that set me off? Or why did that hurt me? What space did it send me to emotionally, mentally, spiritually? Where did I go back to? That's that shadow work that needs to be practiced, okay? Now, we also have trining. Trining is Mars and Uranus. Okay, Mars is our planet of action, and Uranus is our planet of innovation, which, again, that innovative energy, right, is really our desire to practice something new when it comes to our spirituality. Okay, I want everybody to identify a new spiritual practice that you can implement. Get out of the rituals, get out of the mundane, which full moon in Capricorn causes us to want to stay steady, to want to stay, on a straight and narrow line and do what we've been doing, to be very ritualistic. But that Uranus trine, that harmony, trines bring us harmony, is telling us it's okay to add something new, add a new practice in there. But I want y'all to identify a new practice centered in emotional intelligence, a new spiritual practice that will help you enhance your emotional intelligence. Almost choked. Almost choked. I don't have my water near me. I don't know if y'all heard it. I don't have my water. See, y'all can't see below. My hand scattered for my water. I couldn't. I got to prepare next time. Okay. And Mars causes us to the desire to want to take action. Okay. So that trine, that harmony is telling us it's okay to take action. It's okay to move, especially centered around our goals, y'all. Especially centered around our goals. So listen to me. Listen to me. Okay. When it comes to your goals, what I 1000% need you to do is to reflect on what were your goals that you set for this year. What were your goals, your manifestation desires, and how close are you to achieving it? How close are you to achieving your manifestation desires? How close are you to achieving your goals? What goals have you accomplished thus far? Give yourself gratitude for that. Give yourself praise for that. Job well done, because as we know, it ain't always easy. It ain't always easy to keep moving forward and to keep progressing. So how have you progressed over these last 6 months or last 4 months if we're going according to the lunar calendar? We know the Lunar New Year was February 10th, right? My birthday. was the Lunar New Year. Okay. So now that we are a quarter of a way into the Lunar New Year, what have you done? How have you progressed thus far? What have you achieved? And let me just be clear about this. An achievement is not always like, oh, I got this material thing, or I moved, or I shifted, or I changed. For some people, an achievement is you came up out of depression. That's an achievement. That's an achievement. Okay. For some people, an achievement is you came up out of depression. Okay. That is an achievement. And I need y'all to know that. I need you to be proud of yourself for that. I need you to love on yourself for that. For some people, an achievement is you stepped away from an unhealthy relationship. Be proud of yourself for that. Okay. I need you to know that. So be proud of yourself for those goals too. Not just the simple things, not just the small things. Be proud of yourself for the big things. Okay? For the big things. That's a big thing. Sometimes we say, oh, that's just a little simple thing. That's a little small thing. To me, the simple and small things is the material stuff. The small things is, oh, I got a car. That's a small thing. You know, oh, I got a house. That's a small thing. The big things is I am well. I am well is a big thing to me. Okay. I am genuinely to my core, to my soul, happy. That's a big thing to me. I am physically healthy. That's a big thing to me. You know, the material stuff is the small stuff. You know, those are accomplishments. Those are great. But the big things is when I woke up this morning, I felt good. Like not just good physically, I also felt good spiritually. I felt happy. I felt joy. Wasn't worn out. I didn't wake up like, oh God, I got another day. Damn. I woke up grateful. That's a big deal. Okay, so if you woke up feeling that, big deal. Okay, so be proud of yourself for that. But then also ask yourself, now, what are my next steps? Again, that Mars trine is causing us to the desire to take action and move to the next steps in our goals. So how can we elevate that? How can we elevate our goals? Okay. Now, I think we done went over everything when it comes to our planetary alignment. We talked about the full moon in Capricorn. We talked about the summer solstice coming up at 4:50 p.m. Again, I advise that y'all go outside and capture some of that energy. Put your crystals out. You know, make you some moon. It's a good time to make you some moon water. And let me just be clear. When I say moon water this time, you can do a summer solstice water, a sun water, and you could make you a sun tea. Come on, Southern people. Come on, my Southern folks, make you a good sun tea, honey. Okay, if you are anywhere where it's nice and warm outside, or even not, where that sun is shining, y'all know a good sun tea. You'll put some herbs or some tea bags inside some purified water in a glass jar, and you just sit that thing in the sun and let it brew in the sun. Make you a good sun tea and capture some of that beautiful divine source, intuitive summer solstice energy. And then for the full moon and Capricorn energy, you could put that water out. Of course, when the sun sets, you'll put your moon water out, right? And then you'll bring it in before the sun comes up. Full moon in Capricorn, moon water can be used to purify, to cleanse your emotions, to bring you a balance, right? To bring you some more action-oriented energy, some more goal-oriented energy. So full moon in Capricorn, moon water, if you have a job interview coming up, it's good to bathe in that or to drink some of that. If you have something, a business dealing or something, a business lunch or a meeting that you're going to, it's a good time to have that. Very goal oriented. If you are having the desire to go out and like apartment hunt or house hunt or something like that, having a little sip of that full moon and Capricorn water will be good for you, right? Because again, very goal oriented, very dependable, very responsible. Financially astute. Capricorns are usually very financially astute, right? So it's a good time to have some of that. So make you some sun tea, make you some full moon and Capricorn water. Now, somebody had asked for examples earlier. Let me scroll up. I think you asked for examples of rituals that you can, new rituals, new spiritual practices that you can practice to implement to practice emotional intelligence. Oh, Virgo mama, I see you. Thank you. I appreciate that, Sister Queen. Thank you. I normally don't see your lives and always have to replay, but I'm glad I caught this live. Oh, you think you needed to hear this? Much love to you, Virgo Mama. Thank you. And I'm glad you caught a live. Hey, girl. Hey, Khadijah James said, this is making so much sense. You are the best. Thank you, Khadijah. Wellness community. I appreciate you. Okay, the examples. Okay, Khadijah said, you asked a question earlier. You said, I've been having issues with my communication. My communication have been coming off as harsh or aggressive when my intent was neither. Let me tell y'all something. And this leads me into the examples of practices we can implement, right? Let me put that question back up. Let me tell y'all something. Oneness community, we talked about this as well. And I'm going to use myself as an example. And I hope my sister is in here. You have to have people in your life that you trust to check you. You have to have people in your life who you trust to get you together. Okay? I was a person back in the day, in my younger years, teens, 20s, I used to communicate very aggressively, right? My words, the way I used to talk, things I used to say was very aggressive, right? Very blunt, and it's funny because me and my friend that was together yesterday, we've known each other for about 15 years now. And she told me yesterday, she was like, you've gotten much better, because we was having this conversation about how aggressive I used to be. And not just in communication, but also behavior. I was a tussler. I was a tussler. My emotional response to anger was to tussle. And thank God I haven't had a physical altercation in years, because I've come a long way. I don't even respond. Honey, you got it. You got it. You won. Okay? You won. But when people used to tell me back then, people used to say, you're aggressive, or I don't like how the way you say that, it's aggressive. Da, 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 da. I used to be like, I'm not aggressive. I'm just from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. That's how we talk where I'm from. Okay, Brooklyn, people want that. That was me. That's how we talk. I'm from Brooklyn. What you mean? And really, it wasn't until people I trust to check me was like, girl, you need to work on that. My sister, the way you talk is crazy. So she said. That's what she said. The way you talk is crazy. Okay? You talk aggressive. But what I said was the truth, though. I just told the truth. That's how I used to rationalize it. I'm just telling the truth. I'm just saying what everybody else don't want to say. I'm from Brooklyn. Okay, what you trying to say? I'm from Brooklyn. I'm just telling you what you need to hear. I'm telling you what nobody else want to tell you. And I had to receive the possibility, because I trust my sister. I know my sister wants me to be well. I know she wants me to be the best version of myself. I had to receive the possibility that, damn, maybe she right. My brother, hey sis, you be a little, I asked him, thoughts, feels, wellness committee, if you know, thoughts, feels, you think I'm a little aggressive? My brother was like, and it's his fault. It's a part of his fault, because my brother is a brother, I was his little sister, and he's a part of making me tough. But he had to tell me, sis, you a little. So I had to accept the possibility that they're right. And once I accepted it, I was able to work on it. So it's beautiful, Khadijah, that you're able to accept that my communication has been coming off as harsh or aggressive, but you are aware that that may not be your intent. Your intent may be to tell your truth. Your intent may be to be honest, but we can do that without being harsh. We can do that without being brutal. People say I'm being brutally honest. Honesty doesn't have to be brutal. Brutal is a choice. So the first thing we have to do, and this is the practice of emotional intelligence. The sister earlier was asking for examples. How do we become emotionally intelligent? Can you give us some examples of some practices? The first thing you do is have to be aware. Be aware. So once you are aware that the way you're communicating may be coming off as aggressive, as harsh, then we can do the root work. What are the triggers? What triggers me to, even if it's not my intention, my impact is harsh or aggressive? What triggers that? What triggers me to communicate in a way that is even received as harsh and aggressive? And then sometimes, and we talked about this one in this community, sometimes we'll say, I'm just being myself. I'm just being myself. Two things can be true. You can be being yourself, and yourself is a bitch. You can be being yourself, and yourself is a nasty ass, brutal ass, rude ass person. Okay, so saying I'm just being myself does not give you a pass for aggression, for harshness, for brutality. Sometimes yourself needs to be worked on. I was a harsh, aggressive, rude, brutal person. I had to work on it. And I was just being myself because, that's how I talk. I'm from Brooklyn. Yeah, girl, you from Brooklyn, but you're also rude as fuck. Yeah, you're also aggressive. And when I decided that I don't want to be that person, I don't want to impact people in a way that is aggressive and harsh and brutal, I was aware. I made a decision that I no longer wanted to be that way. And I did the work to identify what are my triggers. And I realized that my communication shifts and changes to aggressive and harsh when I desire to really get my point across. Now, get this connection. I desire to get my point across. So now I don't even realize that my tone is shifting, my voice is elevating, my words are becoming more. But why do you feel you have to speak that way when you want to get your point across? This is me doing the root work. It's because for a long time, I felt like when I spoke softer, when I wasn't as loud, my voice was skipped over. I'm the baby of my family. I'm the youngest. The youngest is always like, child, you don't even know. I felt dismissed. I felt like my voice wasn't valued. My opinion, my thoughts wasn't valued. So you see how I had to do the root work. What's making me come off as harsh and aggressive is the fact that I'm talking loud, I'm talking stern, the way I'm articulating my words, it's just harsh. Do I always talk like that? Not always. Sometimes I could be real calm and real. Let me compare and contrast the moments I feel comfortable being calm versus the moments I feel like I gotta get It's because I feel like I need you to hear me, hear what I'm saying, understand what I'm saying. And I had to do that because I felt like when I wasn't speaking that way, I was skipped over. I was dismissed. So I had to do the root work, the childhood work to heal that trauma of me feeling dismissed, unheard, misunderstood, my voice not valued, right? So that's the work that has to be done. That's an example. So sometimes, and that's shadow work. That's what we call shadow work, right? So there's a lot of steps there of the awareness, identifying, making a decision that you don't want to be that way. It's a lot of steps that go into that, right? A lot of steps when you make these choices, a lot of steps. But that's the spiritual practice. See, a spiritual practice is not always crystals and herbs. A spiritual practice is not always meditation and nam yo ho and get cured and ringing bells and smudging. A spiritual practice is also doing the internal work to be better. Okay. And that's just an example with working on communication, which, like I said, with that opposition of Mercury and Cancer, that will be our biggest challenge right now is how we communicate. That's the spiritual work of working on communication, But if you want some herbs to help you with that, if you want an herb to help you with how you communicate, if you want an herb to help you with, just being able to speak more kindly and more sweetly, first off, let me just tell you, A little honey on the tongue or under the tongue is helpful. If you find yourself getting to the space where you're noticing you're getting a little harsh, a little aggressive, a little honey on the tongue or under the tongue, sweeten the words, sweeten the tongue is always helpful. Eucalyptus opens up the throat chakra, helps remove blockages. It helps bring ease to communication. So a drop of eucalyptus oil on the tongue or preferably under the tongue and some breath work with that will help ease that communication. Peppermint as well, spearmint as well. Any type of mint is good for helping bring ease to communication. Oil of oregano is also good with that, right? A little drop under the tongue. Now you got to be careful with that oil of oregano because it will burn you. The oil of oregano is no game. It will burn you. But cinnamon is also a good one. Okay. Now, the only thing with the cinnamon you have to be mindful is cinnamon is a catalyst, right? So it's sweet words, abundant words, but also you may desire to communicate swiftly. Okay. Speeding up communication. But cinnamon is also a good one. So even if you wanted to do a little blend of honey, cinnamon, and a drop of eucalyptus, and you wanted to do a little blend with that, of course, you add a little water or maybe a carrier oil to it and put it in a little small bottle and keep it in your purse. For me, in my purse, I like to carry some eucalyptus oil, some peppermint oil, or sometimes I'll do my own little special blend of different things to really help ease that communication. Lemon is also good for that as well. Lemon is good for being a filter, right? Helping us filter our words, right? So you may want to add a little drop of lemon oil to that blend as well. Okay, so those are some things. And of course, lapis lazuli is a good crystal for communication. A clear quartz is a good crystal for communication. Sunstone is also a good crystal for communication, as well as intuitive clarity on what you should and should not say. Okay. So you can carry those crystals to kind of help you communicate. And lastly, a good spiritual practice to help enhance emotional intelligence and help with communication, breath work. Breath work. Because the biggest key of emotional intelligence is being aware of your emotions and regulating your emotions. Being aware, identifying what those emotions are, and then regulating those emotions. Breath work is a good way to regulate because, as we know, emotions affect our nervous system. And when your nervous system is out of whack, when your nervous system is affected, is heightened, your heartbeat becomes irregular, your breath becomes irregular, right? So what you need to do is start regulating your breath. Immediately go into breath work. If you want to check in with your emotions, the first thing you need to do is check in with your breath. When you find yourself having a shallow breath, having an erratic breath, right? Your breath work, your breathing is kind of erratic. You definitely, the first thing you want to do is get a regular breath ritual. Let me practice some breath work. Let me in, slow exhale. And usually that's how you want to start it. As soon as you find your breathing being shallow, you want to take a deep breath in, hold it for a second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then a slow, steady exhale. And then you can decide what breathwork ritual you want to practice. Now, that is not a time that you always want to move into fire breathing. You want to slow, steady, slow, steady, slow, steady. Then you can move into fire breathing, okay? Because that fire breathing is going to kind of just like be a purifier and cleanse and help release that emotion. Fire breathing. So when we practice slow and steady breath work, it helps calms us, help eases us. Fire breathing is a purifier, right? So you want to purify that energy. That's why you want to slow, steady, calm those emotions, regulate those emotions, and then you want to release, get into that fire breathing, release, and then kind of reset and decide how you want to feel. Okay, so those are some spiritual practices that you can implement aside from the shadow work. Now let's get into these journal prompts, y'all. We done been going, 44 minutes. Ciao. Journal prompts. Let me move down. Okay, journal prompts. First journal prompt. And if you are taking notes by hand, I advise that you take these notes verbatim for the journal prompts. What goals have you achieved this year? That's the first journal prompt. Simple. That's how you do your check-in and give yourself gratitude and praise for the goals you have achieved so far this year. Second journal prompt. Are you on track to achieve your yearly goals? What steps can you take to get closer to your goals, to progress, to move forward? Are you on track to achieve your yearly goals? What steps can you take to get closer to your goals, to progress, to move forward? We know that full moon and Capricorn energy is very goal oriented. So, again, this is a good time for reflection. Third journal prompt. We've been talking about this the whole time. How is your emotional intelligence? How often do you check in with your emotions? How do you identify your emotions? How well do you communicate your emotions? I'm going to read it again. Third journal prompt. How is your emotional intelligence? How often do you check in with your emotions? How do you identify your emotions? How well do you communicate your emotions? Fourth journal prompt. How do you practice emotional control? What new spiritual practice can you implement to enhance your emotional control? How do you practice emotional control? What new spiritual practice can you implement to enhance your emotional control? What is the root of some of your most sensitive emotional triggers? How do they stop you? This is the fifth journal prompt. I'm sorry. Fifth journal prompt. What is the root of some of your most sensitive emotional triggers? How do they stop you from feeling grounded and balanced? How do you plan to work on the root of that trigger? I'm going to read it again. What is the root of some of your most sensitive emotional triggers? How do they stop you from feeling grounded and balanced? How do you plan to work on the root of your triggers? And I want to go back 1 second about what I said earlier about the aggressive, like communicating aggressively and harshly, right? And I gave you an example of how I did the work to improve that. Another thing I noticed, and I want to say this because triggers with an S, sometimes you may not realize that there are multiple things that trigger you, especially when it comes to communication and how you communicate, right? Another thing I realized is that for some reason I received, not for some reason, I know I know why, but it's again, it's connected to like childhood things and stuff like that. But I used to receive certain things as a threat, as a question of my identity, which is ego work, right? So certain things I used to feel like, and again, it connects back to like not feeling like your voice is valued, your intellect is valued, and things like that. I used to feel like people would ask me questions or would say certain things, and I would take it as a challenge. I would take it as a threat, and that's ego work. Right? Sometimes we take certain things as a threat to our identity. We take certain things as a threat to our intellect, as a threat to our intentions. Right? I feel like you questioning my intentions. I feel like you're questioning my intellect. I feel like you're questioning who I am. Right? And we don't realize that's how we're receiving certain things. Right? So it's important to know that. Sometimes it's our ego that's hurt and we don't realize our ego is hurt. So when we're communicating, we're responding, we're taking it as a challenge. And this is especially, and I told y'all to communicate because of that Venus opposition as well. This is going to happen a lot in relationships, friendships, family relationships, your personal, your partner, your spouse. You may not realize that your partner may say something to you and you take that as a threat, as an attack, as a question of the value of your self-identity, the value of your place in that relationship, your contribution to the relationship. And it could be something as simple as, wellness community, we watching couples therapy, right? The Showtime show, for those of you who do not know, Showtime has a show. It's on Paramount Plus right now. It's called Couples Therapy. They dropped a new season. Wellness community, we're watching it as a tribe. But if you're not in the wellness community, I advise you get into that show. Remember the couple who the guy did not know how to wash dishes, and she was communicating to him like, bro, how have you been living life for 25 years and you don't know how to clean the bathroom? Let's clean the bathroom. He is receiving that as a question of his identity, a question of his intellect, a question of his ability. That's ego. That's ego. And a part of that may have been her intent, Or her intent may have genuinely been surprised. Like, for 25 years, you have never cleaned a bathroom. Oh my God. Like, genuine surprise. Not her intention may not have been to kill his ego, to hurt his ego, or to devalue him, to devalue his presence, his contribution. But that is how he received it. He was like, you're comparing, and you're trying to make me seem less than you. Right? So that's how he received it. Sometimes we don't realize that we will respond based on how we receive something, because, as Grayson pointed out in our meeting, sometimes we assume people's intention. Sometimes we assume why somebody did something or said something, and we receive it based on our assumption, and we respond because now, think about this, we assumed it. That assumption has affected our emotions. Our emotions has affected how we respond. So we're responding, we're communicating through an emotion that is based on an assumption of somebody else's intent. And one of the 4 agreements: don't make assumptions. Right? Shout out to Grayson for bringing that up in our meeting earlier, right? Not earlier, but the other day, right? So these are things that we have to be mindful of. So when I say, what are your triggers? Triggers with an S, because sometimes it may be one thing that we want to work on. I want to work on my communication. I communicate aggressively. I want to work on that. But there are multiple triggers that causes us to communicate in that way. So we have multiple things we need to work on, and that is all shadow work, okay? Now, crystals and herbs, the stuff I gave y'all earlier was for communication. Those was not the crystals and herbs listed in the notes, okay? Now, the crystals and herbs that are listed in the notes is all about easing our relationships by enhancing our love energy. Also, a lot of purification and protection, because this is a good time with summer solstice at 4:50 p.m. Eastern time. This is a good time to reset and reflect. So things centered around purification and protection. Let's get into it. Crystals: red garnet to increase confidence and love energy. Topaz to enhance our energy as a whole, to uplift us, elevate us, give us that we have Mars trining. So give us that energy that we need to take action and to move, right? To get up and go and progress in our goals. Topaz also provides us with some emotional balance. Fluorite for clarity and harmony. Smoke quartz for protection. Y'all know I love me a good smoke quartz for protection. Turquoise for balance and peace energy. Y'all see Salam? Salam, the people was concerned about you. I think they thought I abandoned you when I moved. Let's show them you well. Y'all look, you know, black mamas. Show them you eating. Show them you eating and you're well. Okay. Smoke quartz for protection. Turquoise for balance and peace energy. Balance and peace energy. So running through the crystals one more time: red garnet, topaz, fluorite, smoke quartz, and turquoise. Okay. Now, herbs. And with those crystals, of course, you can meditate with them. You can put them in a mojo bag. You can sleep with them under your bed. When you find yourself having difficulty with emotional balance, right, with feeling grounded and feeling well, you may want to hold those crystals and go into your breath work, go into your meditation, and really probably go outside and practice some grounding techniques with those crystals. Herbs. Now, with all of these herbs, I advise that you make a tea with them. But the first one, you can make a tea with the leaves, but also you can eat them. Okay. The first one is plantain. Okay. Plantain for emotional healing and strength. Okay. You can make you some plantain fufu. Okay. You can make you some fried plantain, but you can also take the leaves from the plantain and you can boil them and make a tea with them. Okay. Blessed thistle for purification and protection. The plantain for emotional healing and strength. Blessed thistle for purification and protection. Patchouli for peace and love energy. Pennyroyal is the 4th herb for harmony, balance, and grounding. You know you ain't supposed to be up here. You see, he up on my desk and he know he ain't supposed to be up here. He got up on it and looked back at me like, you see? Am I cool? No, you ain't cool. Shout out to Chicago. You know what I love Chicago people. They say, is you cool? That's a Chicago thing. Is you cool? I love that. Shout out to Chicago people. Okay, Penny Royale for harmony, balance, and grounding. And the last one is myrrh for healing and protection. So plantain, blessed thistle, patchouli, Penny Royale, and myrrh. Okay, and those are herbs. Okay, and you can smudge those herbs. You can make a tea with them. The myrrh, of course, you want to smudge, but the blessed thistle, the patchouli, you can make a tea with that as well. There are people, y'all, who do patchouli tea. To me, it's bad, but there's also people who do like rose tea, right? To me, too perfumey, I'm not a floral tea person, right? There are people who enjoy like the floral, you know, I'm just not that. Only one I can do that gives you like a floral, somewhat perfumey is lavender. That's the only one I could do. I had a drink yesterday that had lavender extract. Pretty good. It was balanced out with mint. But some people do patchouli. For me, I would make a smoke bowl with these. I would do a tea with the blessed thistle and the penny royale, but I would do a smoke bowl with everything else. But you also can do a tea if depends on what you like, with those herbs. But family, happy summer solstice. Again, make your sun tea, make your full moon water. I spoke earlier about, some of the benefits of the full moon water as well as the sun tea. Enjoy this summer solstice. Again, the earth is tilted closest towards the sun, and that sun is our divine source. So enhanced intuition is a good time to purify and reset your energy. Practice some sunbathing, go outside today and just really be free. Be free, reset yourself, refresh your energy, and you also just feel open and feel welcome to just kind of decide what are your next steps. How are you going to move forward? What are you working on right now? Spiritually, mentally, and physically, right? Holistically, what are you working on right now? And again, a part of the holistic is that emotional intelligence. This full moon in Capricorn is really going to give us the revelations of the triggers that we need when it comes to our emotional intelligence, but also that summer solstice energy is giving us the ability to release those triggers, to release anything that is not aligned with our wellness, okay? I love y'all, family. Happy full moon in Capricorn. Happy summer solstice. And I will see y'all soon. Much peace, y'all. Salam, let the people see you one time before we go. Say I'm well. Much peace, y'all.